Hey guys, how are we doing this morning? Okay, so this is day one again on my new PA account, so hopefully I won't mess it up this time. So we're going to have a strange day. We've got quite a bit of news today. We've got this ISM manufacturing and Jolt's job opening news, which is in about 35 minutes, and then we've got the big news, the FOMC, which is at 7 o'clock UK time tonight. But we're probably going to be long done by then. So who have we got in this morning? Nicholas, afternoon. How are you doing, my friend? What? How you doing? What? All the best, lads, in your new PA. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it. Sam, morning, Sam. Jim, how you doing, Jim? G Money, top of the morning to you. How you doing? Trading Queen, tell me about it. I think you're a new face, aren't you, Trading Queen? I don't think I've seen you before. I don't think we've got many women in at the moment. So welcome. It's nice to have some more females in the business, for sure. I know when I look on my statistics on YouTube, very, very little women trading, so which I think is a shame. Good to see you. Good to see you, G-Money. Apex did not disappoint. I had my third PA account. Excellent. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah, mine was quick. I think it was about 3 o'clock. I think I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and I checked my email and I saw them there 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's a nice feeling. Then you turn back over and have a nice sleep then. Yeah. Trading Queen, thank you. You're welcome. Nice to have some more ladies in the stream to keep us on our toes. Make sure we're behaving ourselves. So who else we got in tonight? Scruffy, how you doing, Scruffy? Ionis, I think that's correct. We've had a chat before, haven't we? Kirk, how you doing, Kirk? Grandpa Roger, how you doing, Gramps? I'll call you Gramps from now, so nice and easy. Tech. 111. How you doing? Hugo? How you doing, Hugo? G-Money, yeah, we've said that, haven't we? Pro, well, that's a tough one, isn't it? Proares, something like that, isn't it? Congratulations on the peak out. Thank you, my friend. This is the second one. Well, I've had this is about the 10th I've had, but the last one I actually managed to get up to a reasonable amount and took a payment out, but I had a bad day followed by another bad day, and so I've implemented some rules. So hopefully we shouldn't have that issue. My life, I love it. Fantastic. Where are you from? Are you UK or are you US? I always like to know where people are from. Is Osam in the house yet? Is he? I was just wanted a quick chat with him, see how his runner went. Speedy boy, how you doing, buddy? I just wanted to, because I think the last thing we left was Osam was in a runner. Probably I don't know anybody else was or not, and the market actually went right up to where we expected it to, right up to the second leg, ticked above it. So that's fantastic. So I'm assuming he ran his right the way up. So I did have a trade, but I was just on a demo yesterday. I did consider letting it run, but it's by the by, isn't it, on a sim? So. Yeah, so it's probably going to be a bit. It's like welcome to paint dry at the moment, isn't it? It's probably going to be a lot of this. I would have said, certainly till 3 o'clock UK time. So we're looking at about 30 minutes. Market opens in about 3 minutes UK time. Are you from Los Angeles? Excellent. I have another trader, pal of mine from Los Angeles, Marlon. He's from Los Angeles. Originally from Armenia, and I've been chatting to him on and off now for about 12 months. So he's Los Angeles as well. So I don't know whether you know him, Marlon. So I've been chatting with him on and off now for about a year. We sort of help each other out of bad times when we have bad days. So it's trading bug. Bite me so hard. It can do that, can't it? Yeah, it can. Cheers. Waiting for the session to open. Yeah, it's going to be a funny old morning, I think, isn't it? Well, morning for you guys, afternoon for us. Brant, just what I like in the morning, watching Mulgrew. It is a bit like that, isn't it? it was a little bit sideways there, a little bit of sideways there, a little bit of sideways there. So we get a little push and a bit more sideways. So yeah, I think it's probably. I think most traders are just sat taking their time at the moment, just waiting for that bit of news. So we've got some news coming up in a little over 30 minutes, and then we've got the FOMC at about 7 o'clock tonight UK time. I think is that about 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I think. So we're probably long gone by then, but we may go. We'll see how that gets on, because usually, an hour or two before that. In fact, if I remember the last one, it was just choppy all day. It didn't really settle. So whether we will get some decent trading out of it for a time being, I don't know. But I think I looked on Mac's chart last night, and when I look back on the day, there was actually some really good trades, and a lot of them. And one thing we chatted about, it is the FOMC tonight, but one thing we chatted about is ranges. And there was a period of a range yesterday when it was finishing beautifully at the same point. I think there was 3 or 4 points on the bottom. It finished almost identical. And I noticed Mac took a couple of longs off there. And he did mention it's been a while since we've had a trading range that has, respected the same point in time for such a long period of time. So it just goes to show how tough conditions it's been lately. And the only thing I can think about it is obviously, with interest rates so high, and obviously the damage that COVID did to the markets and just to finances and governments. I'm assuming that's probably had a lot to do with why it's been so choppy and so volatile and so sort of unpredictable. But hopefully we should be moving on to better, more stable times. So, okay, markets just opened. So who else we got in? Scalping strategy. Morning. How you doing? So you said hello to Speedy, leading loser. How you doing, Brant? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it is a bit mouldy, isn't it, today? I'm going to have a go at this one again. Salah. Oh, God, why can't you be called Dave or something? Let me have a go at this one again. Salonte, something like that. We had a chat that yesterday. You said I was right, but I tried it 2 different ways. So I don't know which was which. So how you doing, buddy, anyway? G-Money. Excuse me. Lots of news at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah. FOMC, it certainly is. We'll probably be done by then, but whether it'll just go choppy and sideways leading up to that, it's hard to say. There is a second entry long there, but it is quite choppy. One would think it would be going up, wouldn't it? Because I put this line here because it has respected a little bit, isn't it? So we're probably going to get, we are probably going to get a second leg up. I did look at that, but to be fair, now I'm on a PA account, I've got to be extra cautious. So it's not safe to trade that, is it? Especially the way things are at the moment. You'd have got a couple of points, but you'd have been panicking about now. So, but yeah, it's just sitting and watching and wait for it to settle down and wait for some good entries, really. That's all we can do. So I hope everyone's well. So yeah, it's sitting and waiting. Yeah, it is bouncing around a bit, isn't it? I had a chat with a couple of guys last night on the Facebook groups about the problem I had yesterday with the trade copier. And the impression I seemed to gather from the chats I had was if you use a SIM as a lead account, it can malfunction. Apparently, I spoke to Shalan, I think it was, and he'd mentioned it. He'd spoken to Daryl Martin about it, and apparently this was a while ago, apparently the programmers have said, which led me, because a lot of people said it's like an older version of Replicanto. So, but he mentioned that the programmers have mentioned that if you do use a demo as your lead account, it can malfunction. And the only way to describe what happened yesterday, it was a malfunction. I've never seen anything like that in the sort of year and a half or so I've been using NinjaTrader. So that's what I'm putting it down to. So it is what it is. But, these things are sent to test us, and as long as we learn something from them, all good. If the Fed doesn't drop down 25 base points today, market's going to melt down. Well, I've got a long position in Bitcoin at the moment, not with a lot, so I'm hoping we're going to be pushing up. I think I've got my get out at $25,000, but I've not got a lot on it. Well, you seem to get the impression from people talking and what the markets are sounding like, it might be slightly positive news, but until we know, nothing's set in stone, really, is it? So the sim account excuse doesn't make sense to me, because all Apex said, well, yeah, that's what I thought, but perhaps it's because a sim acts differently within NinjaTrader, so I don't really know. It's hard to say, isn't it? How do you find out? It's hard to tell, really. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I got to say, it does make me nervous about using it. As soon as I shut it down, I came on my chart earlier, I certainly felt a bit better, but it is hard to say. What I may do is I'm just going to stick with this one account, and once I start to get it up and earn a bit of money again, I will then invest in Replicanto, and I'll give that a try and see if I have any luck with it. There is a possible failure there, but that's choppy as shit at the moment. You just can't safely do anything with that. EMA's flat. It's right in the middle. Although I expect it to probably touch here. It's still too risky though, isn't it? If that can push through there, it's probably going to come down the bottom, but it's just too risky. Too choppy. Bars are too big. I just got to sit. I probably break below this, but that's the trouble when it's like this. When we got news and the market opens, it bounces around for a bit, doesn't it? So sit and wait until I got my cup of Yorkshire tea, and I'm just going to sit and watch for a bit. When you follow the trades with a stop loss, that's when stuff can go wrong. Trouble is, most traders I know use the stop loss to get out. If I watch V Wilson, he trades 20 PA accounts on Apex Trader. And most of the time, he's bringing, as the market's going down, he's bringing his stop loss. So in most cases, it's the stop loss which cancels the trade. So who knows? Who knows? It'd be interesting to find out if anybody's used it that is a program or has anything to do with software that might be able to shed some light on it. But I don't know. I'm off it for the time being anyway. I may, as I said earlier, once I start to get a bit more money out of the PA account, invest in Replicanto. It's worth a go, isn't it? I mean, it's, what is it, $150? I mean, you can lose that in a trade, can't you? At least, if something goes wrong. So it's a small price to pay. Yeah, it's your target, yeah. Trouble is, at the moment, when it's like this, it can be unpredictable. And if you look at that, it's bouncing all over the place. Look at the wicks on there. It's up and down, it's up and down. Even if you get into a trade there, you just, I mean, there's a sort of a failure there, isn't there? But it's already broken through any possible stops there. So, and obviously with this, there is some resistance here, isn't there? So, taking... I mean, what is that? It's a fair old sized chunky bar, that, isn't it? Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 3.5 points, tick above, tick below. Looks bigger than it is actually, but it's a 4-point risk, isn't it? So, got a point if you're lucky. It's just too choppy really to go there. I really want to be taking trades like that towards the top of the range, facing down, but I'm just going to have to sit and, I've got to be... I had my PA account. I managed to get it up to about 7,500. I took a payment, and then I because I was doing so well, I had such good green days, and everything was, sort of hunky dory. I let that confidence get to me a bit, which is probably quite common. And I took a quick trade. I literally came into the market. And I'd been here literally a few minutes, and I took a short off here, which triggered and came and stopped me out and just out of frustration, it went up again, bearish bar, took it again, came back up, stopped me out. So I was down about $700 in the first few minutes. So that sort of put me on a bad road. And instead of walking away after the 2 losses, because I'd only been trading 20 minutes, I decided to stay a bit longer. And the trouble is when you've just been hit twice like that, that is the time to walk away. And if you don't, trading can just get harder and harder. And that's what happened. And I ended up going from a $600 or $700 loss to losing $2,300 in the day. And that severely messed with my psychology. It just went downhill from there. So the new rule is if I have 2 losses in any one trading session, I immediately close that account down, whether I carry on a sim or just watch the market and have a chit chat. But if I lose 2 trades in any one session, the sensible thing to do is to close that account down for the afternoon and come back to fight another day. The trouble is it's a lot easier to get over a $700 or $800 loss, which you can make back in a day, than it is nearly a week's worth of profit, because that has a serious hit on your mentality. So I've just got to avoid that this time around. Every sort of day is a school day when you're a trader. So I've just got to, learn from it and move on and try and avoid the mistakes. So it's sitting watching time at the moment. But it does seem to be, in fact, I think the bottom of that range is probably more like that, I would say. Actually, that works better. Touch. That's probably about right. So there's your failed breakout. And same here. That's probably a little failed breakout, isn't it? I can't see where that. Probably somewhere along that lines, isn't it? So let's just get rid of it. So let's see how we get on. Paid $150. Yeah, I think that's the same price as I paid for the Apex trade copier. I've got to say, the first time I had a problem with that copier, I took a short, and as I was what I didn't realise is I think I had 1 PA account and 3 Apex evaluations. And what I didn't realise is the lead, which is the PA triggered short, but I hadn't noticed. My eyes were sort of focused in. As it came down, now those triggered, but there was still 3 of the evaluations sat there ready. And as I dragged my stop down to secure profit, my stop then was eventually hit, which then created 3 buy orders. And by the time I realised what happened, I lost, I don't know, $150, $200, somewhere around there on the 3 of them. Now, I contacted a lady called Marion. Somebody mentioned on the stream, I think, contact her, and she tends to get stuff done when others can't. So I contacted her. She told me, she looked into it, exactly what happened, told me exactly what happened, and refunded. I think whatever it was $200 on each account. She refunded them on the 3 accounts, and she was very nice, very friendly, and sorted it out quick. So the issue I had yesterday, maybe I should speak to you about it, I don't know, but I didn't lose anything because I was on a sim, so I was going to just leave it alone. But I may message her and just tell her I didn't lose anything, but it's something that happened. Can she shed any light on it? What might have gone on? So it might be worth an email. But I think Replicanto, I think they tend to, because I think they specifically sell software. So I think they're more likely to have updates to it and a lot more support, because Apex, the initial email, what they basically said is they don't support it. And I'm thinking, well, how can you sell something for $150, advertise it that it does this, it does that, and then when it has a problem, say, I'm sorry, it's nothing to do with us? You can't do that, really. if you sell some software, you should support it. You know, you don't sell a washing machine and when it breaks down a week later, you don't go, well, it's nothing to do with us. So I don't know. So perhaps Replicanto is the better option. You know, obviously these, you know, software problems, they do have issues from time to time. You know, things like Microsoft we use every day. You get more updates, don't you, which solve problems. So I think Replicanto will be the better option, you know, to continuously have updates and support. Yeah, it's doing the same in the same place, isn't it? It's coming up or coming down a bit, chopping around here, chopping around here, chopping around here. Same sort of places around here. I think market's getting there and people are going, oh, let's be a bit careful. It's likely to turn here, isn't it? So maybe we'll have a quick push up or maybe we'll come straight down. I think the last FOMC day was a lot like this. But there is some potential. Yeah, there's near on probably 9.5 points, 9.25 points to be made. But it is respecting that midline as well. Look, there. It is using that midline. So if we can get below that midline, it tends to come down, doesn't it? And same here. It seems to be closing just below all this. It seems to be sort of slowing down rapidly around about there, doesn't it? Maybe there a little, somewhere around there. That seems to be the get out area, doesn't it? Somewhere around there. Oh, let's take that down a bit. Yeah, those seem to be the areas where people are getting out quick. They're not running them right to the bottom, are they? So, G Money, you've got how many accounts? How many PAs are you starting? You did tell me, didn't you? How many are you doing, buddy? Remind me. I had my third PA account up and running last night. Okay, so you're trading 3, are you? What are you trading? I'm assuming they're $50,000 accounts. Well, how many contracts are you trading on each? 1 or 2? I think they seem to be the popular amounts, don't they? 3 PAs. How many contracts are you trading on each, bud? And are you using Trade Copier, the Apex Trade Copy, or Replicanto? Because at least if they go wrong for you, you can let me know. No, I don't. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. You'll be right. You'll be good. 1 to 2 contracts, yeah. Okay. I tend to start with 2. I like the fact that it gets you out that safety zone quite quick. Okay, so we've got 2 legs up here. But this news is approaching pretty quickly. So if very tempting to go short here. If you look up here, and it probably will come around, but I'm going to just leave things at the moment. Although I am very tempted. But I'm just going to leave things at the moment. I think you took that failed second entry, that one there, yeah. This, if it breaks below, it's probably, yeah, it's too big, way too big. I'd expect that to run to the midline, probably a bit lower, but it's just, it's too big, that. I'm going to play the game carefully, I think. Tempting just to go short there, actually, and have a lesser... have a less risk. It's a big old bar, isn't it? In fact, I'm going to go short there. Has it worked? Yeah. I'm going to go short because there's less risk. And I'm going to see if I can run that down to here. I like where the bar's finished. It's finished in exactly the same place there. I'm just going to follow it down. I do like that. It's done the same there, but it is a smaller risk. Okay, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry for spilt milk. It looked, I liked what it was doing, which is why I took a limit order. Did I set that? What? I didn't. Okay, so it is what it is. Commissions. Let's set the commissions. Okay. I thought it was okay there, big bearish bar, and if I look, it's coming down at the same place here every time there, eventually there. Okay. Yeah, it's not brilliant. It's just gone a little bit haywire, isn't it? But the reason I took it is because it was less risk. I thought I might be able to pick it up here and at least get a couple of points out of it, but it was worth the risk. But I did it. Every time it's come up here, it's gone down. It's gone down there, it's gone down there, it's gone down there. I gave it a chance to have a couple of legs, although that's more of a couple of legs, isn't it? But it is what it is. Yeah, there is a measured move in there. It's gone over that now, isn't it? We've got yesterday's high there, so we've actually, yeah, we've gone over that, haven't we? When's that news? 5 minutes. Okay, so it's sitting waiting, isn't it? In fact, I'm just going to take a few minutes break. I'm just going to make myself a quick cup of tea and I will be back. Blah, blah. News any minute. So. Okay, there's our news. Okay, so I'd say the news is slightly on the negative side. We had that spike down, and we sort of moved back into this a little bit, haven't we? But it's just a matter of sitting and waiting for it to let it settle properly. See if this holds. Yeah, a lot of times it's bounced off the bottom here, isn't it? There. Interesting to see what happens at the top. So we had pushed out, didn't we? And then we had this sort of big spike and drop back in, but it does seem to be pushing up. But we're going to work our way back out there. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? Well, have you found it's okay to take a lower, higher low coming off a failed breakout in a range? Mac and Thomas Wade both mark them sometimes, but not others. Have you found it's okay to take a lower high? When? It's hard to say, really, isn't it? You just got to. It's hard to say, really. You need to sort of look at the situation. Obviously, the EMA comes into play, so it's an hard to answer something like that. So our next news is at 7 o'clock, so it's quite a ways away yet. Well, 7 o'clock UK time. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 3.75 hours away. So, well, after we've had this initial spike, we've come down and we've pushed back up again. So we seem to be more or less in the same sort of area we were before we had the new. Obviously, we had a little bit of a push out there. Whether that was going to come back in or what, it's hard to say. But certainly seemed to be straight back in the same sideways stuff. My bars are different. Maybe reload it. Well, I think all that would do is make it look more like yours, not necessarily different for me. But let's reload it anyway. See if it helps you. Doesn't make a great deal of difference to me sometimes. They're often different. Let's have a look. Yeah, not a huge difference actually. Everything's in the same place there, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that short was into congestion a bit, wasn't it? In hindsight, the only reason I sort of took it is because I got in here. It was a lower risk. I thought it might be. Whenever we've come up here, we've come back down. Same here, so I thought it may. I tend to not take them that much, to be fair, but I probably shouldn't. But big bearish bar, I thought. And I mean, the bar was big, but I came in around about here somewhere for less risk. And I know this was a bit, but there was here, but eventually it came down. There was here, but eventually it came down. So it's one of those things, you jump in and make a decision at the time, don't you? Is that any better, Dylan? Is it? Are they a bit closer to yours now, mate? Sorry about that. My dog's barking at kids. Yeah, that sort of big spike, and we've had a little bit of a pullback, and we've come back, but we've popped back to the bottom. So there's not a great deal of. I'm assuming the news may have been a bit slightly on the negative side, but you know. Make it a measured move to 408.5, 408.6 area, which is up here. Just the top. Yeah. It's hard to say at the moment because we started from the bottom, we stopped at the top. We've had a small break out of that and a push higher. It's hard to say at the moment. We were working our way up, weren't we? So whether that will come back into play or not, I don't know. But at the moment, I think I'm just going to have to sit and wait. If we can get something like this down here at the moment, the way things are, I'd probably take it. Because every time it hits here with the bullish bar, not that there's been many, but see how we get on. Good areas is short off. Well, yeah, the good thing about is coming off the top is we had that initial push down, which I'm assuming was on slightly on the negative. We have recovered a bit, but it's not pushing up where it was. So I'd say the news is slightly on the negative side. So I'd say, yeah, if I was to pick tops and bottoms, I would probably be more inclined to pick a short. The trouble is, well, somebody mentioned a measured leg. The trouble is when it goes up, it comes down. So I can't see the way things have just happened that we get another measured leg up to here. It's possible, but it's hard to say. You know what I mean? It's like saying that one there, isn't it? We might get a measured leg down. So we had a bit of a break. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? It swings and roundabouts. It might do. Get rid of it. It might do. It might not. But with the slightly negative news, I can't see it. It might not even get up there again. It's just hard to say, really. Hard to say what it's going to do, really. It could do. I mean, if it is going to go up, there's a second entry long, but would you want to take a long there? It's just hard at the moment. I'm just going to have to sit and wait until I see something really nice and shiny before I get in. I took that one. And part of the reason why I took it is because I managed to get in a little bit. I mean, the bar was a fair chunk, wasn't it? What was it? 4.25 points. So 4 3/4 would have been the score with a tick above. So 4 3/4, 3 3/4. So I've managed to shave 1.25 off it. So it was a little bit there, but I thought when we sort of pulled back and we pushed up, I thought a couple of legs, big bearish bar. I thought that might get some interest to come back down to the bottom, but it is what it is. You take your risks, you take your chances, you know, so. Not terribly different. Yeah, they often are different. You know, I've asked Mac before this a year or so ago, and I spoke to other people, and they all say the same thing. Just trade your chart as it is. I mean, I've watched the Panda guy, and mine have been almost completely different. You know, I might have had 3 sort of red bars down there. He might have had 2 red bars and a green bar. It's been that different, and I've literally had to look up here to see if he's got, because I know sometimes he flicks between the 5 minutes and the 10,000 tick. So there is a second entry short there, a sort of second entry long, but I really wouldn't want to be going long, I don't think. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be going up or down at the moment. It's right in the middle, isn't it? I mean, the news was slightly on the negative side. Having said that, we did push strongly back up to the top again, so it's hard to say what to do. How did you get on with your runner? Because it did make it to exact a measured leg. In fact, I think it was a tick or 2 above a measured leg, wasn't it, in the end? And then it came down and went up some more. So I'm assuming you got a decent runner out of that, didn't you? 2 points. Please tell me you got. No, you got. I mean, on your runner yesterday. You was in a runner when we finished the stream yesterday, weren't you? Weren't you up something like 10 points or something, weren't you? It did go right away up, didn't it? It went up. We read it right. Yeah, we said it go up and have another leg, and it did. It went up to about 2 ticks above it, I think, before it reversed a little bit and then went up some more. So, I mean, I was only on that demo yesterday, and I would have held it in a little bit longer just to see, but obviously it was a demo. It wasn't worth me sitting there for an extra hour just watching, I think. But, I was aware you were in it. Yeah, I think you were in a runner when I finished the stream, weren't you, if I remember rightly? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were. Yeah, it's very choppy, isn't it? Very well, it was not as stemmy as it was here, but very stemmy, isn't it? I think you probably have more chance of trading this if you just close your eyes and hit buy or sell, wouldn't you? You probably just have as much of a chance of getting somewhere. This long fails, you make a second leg down. Yeah, I mean, we had this big initial candle, which wasn't massive, was it? But it was, what was it? It's 12 points near enough, wasn't it? And then we had a little bit of a pullback, and then we worked out the bottom, but we just bounced straight off, didn't we? Same here, straight back up to the top. So it didn't seem to have, all it seemed to do is just curb this little bit of bullish movement here, really. It's sort of brought it back down to fit within here, isn't it? So it's hard to say, but it does seem to be going, it's struggling to get up, isn't it? I mean, as soon as we hit that top there, we came down strongly, didn't we? We tried to go higher once, tried to go higher. It's hard to say, but the trouble is there's that many traps here. There's a trap there. There's a trap here, which is sort of in at the moment. So if you take the failure, that one there, you're stuck in that at the moment. Yeah, it's very sort of trappy-like, isn't it? Same again there. You might have took the higher low to take out these stops. You're trapped in there and you're about to get stopped out. So it's very trappy, isn't it? I think. But it does sort of, I don't know, it's certainly struggling to get up, so that you would think then, but it's just so hard to say at the moment. It was very similar here, wasn't it? Sort of big stems up, big stems down. Same here, stems down, stems up. Your guess is as good. I think if I was a betting man, I'd say it was likely to go down after this than up, but at the moment it's just chopping left, right and centre, right around this middle, so it's just sitting and waiting time really. Let someone else get involved in that. There is some traps there, see, isn't there? If it breaks above here, it's going to stop them out, which then might... there's going to be some in there, I dare say, thinking they're going to ride down the bottom. If it breaks above here, it's probably likely to get closer to the top, but who knows? Okay, that's broken above there, so anybody trapped in that failure there has just been taken out of the game. So it might move up to here, certainly to this sort of panic area around here. Sometimes it pushes up, but a lot of the time it sort of stalls around here and then comes back down. So I'm guessing it might hit here and could be a second entry short, but it's hard to say. It's very sideways and choppy, isn't it? I get frustrated myself for taking that now. I just saw every time it goes up, it comes down, big bearish bar. But yeah, there is this really, isn't there? Okay, lesson learned. At least the risk was a little bit less. I would have lost another $150 on top of that if I wouldn't have come in on the limit. So there is a possible second entry short there. See how this finishes up here. But we did have that initial push up, didn't we? But then we had that strong spike for the news and then down again, and it seems to be working tops to bottom again. So does that mean it may have another push it going higher? It's hard to say really, isn't it? I think I just have to forget that's happened really, and just trade it out at, you know, how I see it. Excuse me. Okay, we're up the top here. See what happens here. There is a possibility it could have another leg. It's just hard to say at the moment, but it's possible second entry short. It's so tempting, isn't it? What do you do? What do you do? I think I just need to let that one run, I think. Yeah, it is. You like to think it's curbed that bit there because of the big strong push down, but it's another big bar, and I'm gonna have to just let that go at the moment and just let it try and sort itself out and wait for something obvious. It is a second entry short if it fails, if it comes bearish, but it doesn't look to me like it's going to. Yeah, my short's in at 4086. I mean, since it's pushed in, it's sort of respected the tops again, isn't it? And the bottom's there, and a little bit unsure as what to do here. So, I mean, there was a little bit of bullish momentum there, but you don't know whether this slightly negative stuff is just took the interest off the longs, taking it higher and here. So it's hard to say at the moment. You certainly could, mate. I've just got a feeling it's going to be like this the most of the day now, at least up to the FOMC stuff. Sometimes it seems to Excuse me. Sometimes you get better trading after that, really, don't you, when that sort of kicks in? But there's not a lot of market time left after that. But I know when I came up the other day, I took about 2 trades actually after the news, and they were all right, actually, good setups. You start getting some bullish momentum again, and I took 2 setups, and so I don't know whether people tend to trade after the news, it's settled down. Because obviously leading up to the news can tend to be, a little bit temperamental. Yeah, see, it's doing a little bit of sideways here. People unsure, are we going to push up again like this now we've settled, or... it's hard to say, isn't it? You reckon? It could do. It's just losing some. What is it doing? It's just stalling a bit, isn't it? The measured leg would take it up to. Take it up to there, which is probably where it's come before. Depends what damage this did to momentum, because obviously we had some above there, didn't we? So you like to think when it comes up here, it comes back down, because that's tend to be what it's generally done. But obviously we had that, didn't we? And then we sort of reined it back a little bit, and then I thought then it might come up here a little bit and then wander down, but it came back up quite strongly back to the top again. And it's done the same, so maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? Perhaps it might have another go. That's a possible failure, isn't it? New low, try to go once, try to go twice, but I don't know, it's hard to say at the moment. It's boring, this. I can't say anything when it's doing this. Much nicer when it's going in stays in one direction. Certainly trying to go higher. See what happens. I mean, if we do come down here, then I don't know. What do you do? What do you do? Yeah, it didn't trigger anyway, did it? I didn't think it would. It was a little bit. I mean, it's only a couple of ticks off, a few ticks off a doge, isn't it? I think there's a little uncertainty there anyway. I mean, it did start to push out here, didn't it? But obviously, something slightly negative to push that down. But it did go back up. But I think that was the test, wasn't it, to see if we can move back up. So it's hard to say, really. You would think there would be a lack of longs there, wouldn't you? But every time it does come down, they do push it back up. But obviously, they're not going to do it forever, are they? You're not going to keep trying to buy, are you? At some point, you're going to think, well, it's not working. Let's leave it alone. And then usually then you get quite decent drops. I would say if that can come below here to this middle line, I think we may get a push down towards the bottom. It's hard to say at the moment. It's all it's all guesswork at the moment. Yeah, so hard to say, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just sat here yawning, struggling to keep my eyes open. I am. Just wondering if we're going to have another push now. Just thinking, are there going to be any shorts in here? Trying to ride it back. I can't see any real obvious areas where shorts might enter. Maybe here, there may be some here. Thinking, we hit it 3 times. Let's jump into a short there. See what happens. If this breaks above here, then I'm guessing we might have a bit of a quick push. So hard to say at the moment. It is guesswork at the moment, but I'd say there's probably going to be some traders which have sold that. There's probably going to be some traders which are in there pushing. But I think if it breaks above here, then we may get a quick push up. It's hard to say at the moment. But this could be a lower high. And if there is some traders in there and here, I think if we can get below here, I think then we're likely to come down at the bottom. Might be a couple of legs down. It's hard to say, but there's probably going to be some longs there because we are sort of pointing upwards. See, that's a failure which is triggered. They may have just taken that long, which is triggered. See, if this gets below here, I think that'll give it a little bit of downward momentum, and then there's probably going to be some longs around some long stops around here. So I would say there's our first line. If we can get below here, then I think probably come down there quite sharp. And once it gets below that one, I'd say we're probably likely then come to the bottom. It might not, but it's just if it does. But it is sort of congested, isn't it? Yeah, we should do something. But I think the longs may start to lose interest if something doesn't happen up top soon. Yeah, I think we'll like to come down. If we can break below here, and then here, then I think we're probably going to come down some more. I don't think I'd like to take that short though. One, it's a big old bar, and it's just, I don't know, I'm not confident doing anything at the moment. One leg, we could have a second leg down. We've broke that. I think we're probably going to break here now, and then I'd say then we've got a chance of getting a bit further down. There's going to be some longs in there, or it could be a second entry long and about. It's just pie in the sky, innit? As we say over here. But once it gets below here, then we're going to lose interest from the longs at the moment, and I think it has ticked below there. So I'd say there's probably longs in there. So okay, I'd say we're probably going to come further down now. Certainly 2 legs. I think we've hit 2 legs actually, haven't we? But I'd say we're down to the bottom or not far off it now. No, we're lower than that. See how far it gets down. See if it gets down below here. Because I'd say there's probably going to be some longs in there as well, which is tick below. Here's our target now. May even come down a bit lower. It's hard to say at the moment. I'm just keeping this in mind. But it went up just as quick as it comes down. So I thought after that bit of recovering a bit more, I thought we may sort of move down. But so if anybody took that lower high, they've just done all right out of that. Just a bit risky though, because it is choppy around here. And we have it at the bottom here. Just draw a short-term trend channel here. If we can break and make a new low and have a bullish bar around here, then I think there's a good chance we're going to work back up. But we've had a strong push down. Trouble is, a lot of times it's just nowadays it's just not giving us setups. Okay, there's our break. Hope it does come down here because I may take a long here because that we've had a break in a new low. There's no real congestion around here. And the last time it hit here, it just rocketed up. So let's see if we get a new low and then another. I prefer that to come down here and then push up. But it'll have to be down here, the head of it, because of those 3. Which lower high? That one there? Yeah, it's hard to say because of all this seriously. Did look at it, but it was quite a chunky bar. 3.5 points. Tick above, tick below, so it's 4 points. I want this to push down here. Oh, I see what you mean. First entry, that one there. Yeah. Technically, it isn't actually. There's your first entry. There's your second entry. There's your third entry. But I know what you mean. There's our new low. And let's see if it goes down or rockets up. You think you'd want to fade this, wouldn't you? Here's a second entry long. I'm just going to buy a limit because it might come up quick. Let's let it trigger first. I'm just going to stick it there. In fact, no, I can't, can I? I thought I'd let it trigger. I want to just see how quick it was thinking of coming up. No, I'm quite glad I didn't take it now. Okay, that's 2 legs down, so this is a breakout, isn't it? Pushed in there. Trouble is, so was that. But this is more of a breakout, isn't it? Let's just see if there's going to be 2 measured legs down there first. One leg down, 2 legs down. One leg, 2 leg. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get filled as well. It didn't get filled the first time, and I thought I'll just hold on and wait and see. I've said this before. A lot of times when you get a sharp push down there, we'll get a little bit of sideways and get same again down there. So I'm assuming this news is sort of has had an effect. Just get rid of this small one. We know that's worked. Okay, so there's one leg down from there. And another leg down. It's just a bit dangerous at the moment, isn't it? I'd say we're probably likely to come back. But it's just... That's gone strongly down, hasn't it? Would you go long here? It's just hard to say, isn't it? It's just a bit risky, I think. You would think it would come back, wouldn't you? Let's see what sort of bar we end up with. Let's see if we can ride it back to the EMA. I'll give it a chance to tick below and trigger, see what happens. You would think after this strong push down it would at least work its way back to the EMA. We've had a break out of this range. Don't know if it's balls or stupidity. I just see it a big bullish bar. After we've had these two legs, lower than two legs, I'd think we'd be lightly heading back to the EMA. If this pushes above here, I'd say there's a good chance we're going to get up here. We've had a break out of this range. You'd think we'd want to retest this, wouldn't you? It's hard to say. Okay, that's triggered. If we can push up now and break above here, then I fancy it back to the EMA, but it's just hard to say at the moment. This needs to end up bullish, otherwise I'm screwed. I've got to stop taking these riskier trades. End up bullish, come on. If it ends up bullish, I think we're good. You would think after this big strong push down we would at least work back to the EMA. No, I'm going to get stopped out here. I shouldn't have took it really, to be fair. Yeah, silly. I've got to stop doing it. I did say the other day I was going to stop picking tops and bottoms. Okay, so look. That's me for the day. I've got to stick to my rule. As soon as I get two losses in a day, I've got to give it up and finish it. So that's it, guys. So if you're carrying on trading, have a great day. And I will catch up with you.